Hello, friends. Oh, what is this? Wait. Ah, I thought there was a shadow thing on the on the video, but I don't think there is. I think that's just what my screen looks like. Okay. This is a little bit of a Q&A. I'm gonna go through a couple of comments and give my spontaneous reflections. So I was just reading the first comment here on my laptop next to me, and I'm not going to read the whole thing out, but it's similar to a question that I've had before, which is people asking about the suffering in the world and how can we relate to that? How can we feel love when there is a lot of pain in the world? And first of all, I'm going to say that I don't have any answers for the state of the world. There's definitely, like, we can definitely, what's the word? Completely losing the word. Contemplate is not the word I'm looking for, but we can discuss and make assumptions about why the world looks the way it does, and really the way that I see reality and experience. This is all one event. This is all one being. It is a continuous flow of the now. There is no timeline. There's no past and future, even though it appears that way from a certain perspective of looking. So when I sense into this question for myself, the answer that comes to me is the ever moving, how do I express this in words? Everything that is happening in the apparent external world is part of I. And the analogy that's come to me before is to understand the world the way that we understand our human body, because the world is our whole body. Everything that exists and doesn't exist, everything that we know and don't know, on a conceptual mental level, everything is we can imagine is our body, even though it appears that we are in a separate vessel that is it simply seems that way from the point of where we're looking, when we are identifying with mind, with thought, with sensations. And when we would begin to investigate the true sense of I, the true self, gradually it becomes can't really say that it becomes clear, because it just becomes clear that we don't really know anything. but it starts to seem like there are no limits to what we are. There is no boundary to what we are. So there is almost like this sense of expanding, ever expanding sense of being. So when we think of other human beings and the suffering in the world, the animals, all the various beings that are suffering in different ways, of course, we want to do everything that we can to alleviate that suffering, or to give back, or um, to sit with compassion. And we also get to be grateful and in awe of the experience that we get to have on a human level, of course. And we can donate and we can show up with our energy in the spaces and for the causes that call us. There is no one human being that can change the state of the world. That is something that we will do together. So when it comes to a task for the mind that is looking like something that is um, a great task, a task that one mind couldn't solve, if the mind can solve anything, then what can we do more than go into our hearts, no matter where we are on the spiritual journey, what we understand of ourselves, of the world? It is my perspective that one of the greatest things that we can do for all of life and for ourselves and for our experience, and if we don't know what to do, then go into the heart. Go into the heart and feel whatever feelings are there about the state of the world, your fear, your pain, your anger. Sit with it and feel it. And take the actions that feel aligned for you to take your way to show up for the world and for yourself. And to me, it seems that when we come to clarity within ourselves, when we are able to hold ourselves, to investigate our experience, sit with intense emotion, intense thought, recognize reality, our experience for what it is, the truth of what we are, the clearer we are on the actions that are um, spontaneously arising through our being. And then perhaps we find our unique way to show up for the world. But it is my perspective that just like when uncomfortable, difficult, painful emotions and thoughts arise within the body, our best course of action is to sit with it, is to meet it, is to investigate it and be curious about it and open ourselves to it, bring awareness to it, sit with it, allow it, accept it. The way that, well, from the place where I'm looking, it seems to me that this is also the best way to meet that which is happening in the apparent outside that we feel is difficult to sit with, to accept, that brings us pain, that brings us worry, that brings us fear, that brings us anger. To sit with it, to look at it, to not push it away, to not push away our emotions about it, to not twist and turn around our reaction and put it onto something that seems to be outside of us, to react, but to bring it in. To soften, to open, and to feel the pain, to feel the worry, feel the sadness, to feel the anger. And I recognize it might be difficult uh, to hear, to receive, to think that the greatest thing that we can do is to come to an acceptance. And if it is already here, there is no need in resisting it, whatever it is. It is already here, it already happened. So when we come to acceptance in a genuine way by recognizing, being curious about our thoughts, about our emotions, this is also the place where we come to clarity, where we come to see inspired action, when we come to see understanding, different perspectives, and different solutions. So, whatever it is that we are resisting within or without, to me, the answer is always drop the resistance. Resistance is never going to serve, but it does serve as an invitation to look, to open, and to open to the things that perhaps feel absolutely impossible to open to. But this is also where our infinite interplay, the way that it seems when we're looking from this perspective of this human body, but everything is us, everything is I. So this apparent interplay is are just waves on the same ocean. And the more that we can invite those waves into our experience, the more we find this equilibrium this flow, this understanding, and a greater dissolving of the edges through it. One of the greatest blessings that we have on this spiritual path are the obstacles. Obstacles are well, everything is an invitation to look, and everything is an invitation to be curious. But very often, the places where it hurts are the places that we don't want to look, and they have a lot to give to us, a lot to teach us. So, those are my thoughts on that. Let's